No, there's a lot of Kathleen Kennedy in the news today. Obviously, she's left Lucasfilm. We have new leaders of Lucasfilm, and we're going to talk about all that as the show goes on here today. But during one of her final interviews as the head of Lucasfilm, the topic of Indiana Jones came up. Now, of course, the most recent Indiana Jones movie, Indiana Jones and the Circle of Time Watch, Rolex, whatever it was called again. It's a pretty forgettable movie.
Dial of Destiny, buddy. Come on.
Dial of Destiny. That's what it was. It came and went. It became like the first significant flop of the Indiana Jones series. And it's raised the question that, guys, a lot of people have had over the last couple of years is, are we going to get more Indiana Jones? I mean, we certainly don't think we're going to get any with Harrison Ford, but I suppose that's not impossible. But bigger picture, are we going to get more Indiana Jones in general? Well, one of the people who gets to make that decision, not because she was the head of Lucasfilm, but because she's the producer of the Indiana Jones films, is Kathleen Kennedy. And she addressed it when she said this. In an interview with Deadline, Kathleen Kennedy confirmed that Harrison Ford was the driving force behind Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. She said he did not want Indy to end with the fourth movie. He wanted a chance at another, and we did that for him, Kennedy said. I don't think Indy will ever be done, but I don't think anybody's interested right now in exploring it, she added. These are timeless movies. These and Indiana Jones will never be done. Asked whether another Indiana Jones film could happen, Kennedy replied, you never know, but we are still here. Steven Spielberg, Frank and I, and Harrison and George Lucas. So we get to say whether there's going to be any more or not. Okay. So a couple things here. Number one, kind of a recognition that the latest one didn't work. Two, the fact that, and we had kind of heard this before, but I never really put a lot of stock in it. But apparently, really the main reason Indiana Jones 5 got made was really because Harrison Ford really wanted to do it. He really wanted it. He didn't want jungle swinging Indiana Jones Jr. boy to be the final installment. So they wanted to do another one. They ended up doing this one. Didn't quite work. But Rob, there's been some debate, obviously amongst the film fan circles, about whether there even should be, can you have Indiana Jones without Harrison Ford? I've always said absolutely yes. It's like saying, can you have James Bond without George Lazenby? Yes. Can you have James Bond without Sean Connery? Yes, you can. It might have felt like you couldn't at the time, but the answer was yes, you can. And so her saying Indy is never done. We could decide to do another one right now if we want, but nobody's really interested in doing another one right now. Rob, it seems like all indications are that we are going to get more Indiana Jones, but probably my guess is not in the next 3 to 5 years. Maybe not in the next 2 to 3 years, maybe year 4 or 5 or whatever, and it'll be time to get another one. I personally am all for it. I think this is such a great character. I think you can tell stories with this character for generations. That's my take.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. You know, the new year doesn't require a new you, maybe just a less burdened you. Most of us carry around things like pressure, self-doubt, or that feeling that we always have to be perfect, and learning to let some of that go can make a huge difference in our lives. Therapy can help you better understand what's weighing you down by giving you an unbiased perspective on your relationships, motivations, and emotions. That's where BetterHelp comes in. See, BetterHelp connects you with quality therapists who are fully licensed in the US and follow a strict professional code of conduct. They also do the matching work for you. You fill out a short questionnaire, and with over 12 years of experience and industry-leading match rates, they usually get it right the first time. And if you ever want to switch therapists, you can do that easily from their tailored recommendations. BetterHelp is also one of the world's largest online therapy platforms, plus an average 4.9 out of 5 rating from over 1.7 million live session reviews. BetterHelp makes it easy to match online with a qualified therapist. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/Campea. That's BETTERHELP.com/Campea.
Rob, what's your takeaway from Kennedy's comments here? And then ultimately, could you see them doing more Indiana Jones down the road?
Well, I actually did like the young Indiana Jones Chronicles.
Oh, yeah.
And especially when they went to what's his face? Was it Sean? Who played the older young Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
Why am I drawing a blank on his name? But anyway, Sean Patrick Flannery, right? That's his name. I like that. There was a couple of really good episodes set in the era of like World War I. I think the problem with Indiana Jones is actually the period, the fact that where he exists in time, because if you think about it, Indiana Jones debuted in Raiders of the Lost Ark, which came out in 1981. Now that was we're approaching, we're 45 years away from when that movie debuted, and that means we were 45 years closer to the period of time that Indiana Jones existed in. As a matter of fact, if you went back 45 years from 1981, you would be in 1936.
This is
right?
like time travel.
But that's the exact. We're as far away from Indiana Jones debuting as Raiders of the Lost Ark was from the time it was set, because it was in the jungles of South America in 1936, right?
Yep.
So we have all of that history between us. And I'm wondering, since the character is locked in a specific time period, I think the character could work. But some characters age out. I mean, when was the last time they've tried to make Tarzan movies, but when was the last time we saw a really successful Tarzan film that wasn't an animated Disney movie, which isn't constrained by time? And I would say that the character of Indiana Jones might be past its time, unless you come up with great stories. Like it was really interesting. They went backwards. We got some World War I stories. We got stories about the birth, well, not the birth, but of jazz and things that were really interesting about. You can't even get kids to watch movies that are set before 1990, and to try and make a franchise character that exists in that period of time, I think is a difficult proposition, where James Bond has been allowed to age, be concurrent. James Bond has always been concurrent to the time in which it was made, and the Indiana Jones is a period piece. So while I think the character could be rebooted, and I think you could get another actor, especially if you brought him young, made him younger, so he could age into the Indiana Jones that we know. It could absolutely work, maybe. But maybe it's a character that's past not his prime, but past his time.
That's why you got to do Indiana Jones 2099.
I don't agree at all. I don't think Indiana Jones is now what has caused to me the major cause of the fall off of Indiana Jones is two specific things. One is they haven't made good movies since Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I mean, like you don't have, it's like a lot of times film fans try to look for like national treasure secret clues as to why things are. It's as simple as this. They haven't made a good movie since, and by the way, I don't think Wheel of Time was the worst movie I saw that year. I don't think the Alien Artifact was the worst thing I'd seen that year either. But the basic idea is they hadn't made a good movie since Last Crusade. Of course, there's going to be some fall off if you don't make a good movie since Last Crusade. The second thing, of course, is, well, I am all for 100% aging actors still playing action roles. It just got too much with the age Harrison Ford is at.
He's going to be 84 this year.
Yeah, I mean,
or he's going to be 85 this year. 84.
Harrison has never been better than he is in Shrink right now. Like he's amazing, but he's playing a character that's perfect for him right now. I just think a lot of people, and we heard all the jokes when it was coming out, it's like, we can't have this globe-trotting adventurer who's in his 80s. I mean, at that point, that just doesn't quite work. You need to transition him to something else. That being said, that means I think if you wait 4 or 5 years, reboot it, Rob, you know as well as anybody that Nazis are always in style as bad guys. And I think you reboot it, fresh face, fresh adventures, in that time period. I think there's no reason whatsoever, as long as you make good movies, I don't think there's any reason whatsoever that maybe not as big as Indiana Jones has ever been, but can still be a dominant, very relevant, modern adventure hero for the movie-going age if they did it right. But That's the catch, isn't it? Doing it right.
Yeah. But I don't disagree with you. But I also think that, history is marching on, and you're dealing with a character that was active 100 years ago. And that's fine. But I think that, look, we don't even know our own history anymore. So it's hard to get people involved with. I mean, there's so many people that we grew up with movies about World War II. I mean, some of my favorite movies, The Great Escape, Dirty Dozen, Where Eagles Dare, which I love. That was all part of the zeitgeist. I mean, even Spielberg made Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan in the 90s. But nowadays, I just don't know.
Dunkirk made a lot of money. Oppenheimer nearly joined $1 billion club. I think the key is simply you make good movies like Dunkirk, like Oppenheimer, like Last Crusade, only done today. I still think the audience will be there for it if done right.
Look at the popularity of the video game. That's the one that's called Great Circle. That
was
very popular. And I get it's a video game, but it's still Indiana Jones is still set in the 1930s.
But I would say this.
Perfect point.
But video games, Ghost of Tsushima is a great video game, and that's set in feudal Japan.
Yeah.
And video games are different because the past becomes fantasy. Whereas
but they're making a Ghost of Tsushima, and they're going to be making a God of War. Again, I think it just comes down to the quality of the film. I don't think anybody's rejecting a movie because of the time period it takes in. I think they've been rejecting movies because, this is a series that hasn't had a good film in almost 30 years.
Yeah, I mean,
this is a series where our main lead action star is 80 years old. You get what's his name who plays Sentry? Pullman. You get Pullman or somebody of that ilk in as a new fresh-faced Indiana Jones set in the Nazi war era, and you make it really good and exciting and adventurous and thrilling. I think everybody's coming out for it.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, there's plenty of great period pieces, everything from Boardwalk Empire. Hell, my audio drama is set in 1932 and 1933.
Boardwalk Empire is a great example.
Boardwalk Empire. Look, Peaky Blinders but the thing about those shows too is the criminal impulse is something that hasn't changed then to today. And I think that we're now used to looking at feudal Japan as something that it's in a way it's adjunct to sword and sorcery, even though it actually happened.
Right.
Whereas
worked for Shogun.
Yeah, absolutely. But whereas the paradigm of Indiana Jones, I don't know. I mean, it would have to be really good. I think the problem is recreating that formula is really hard.
Yes. Oh, no doubt. 100%. But I would contend that making any movie good is really hard. So
yeah,
it's got as good of a chance as any. Anyway, Guy, we need to move on from this. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Kathleen Kennedy is saying, as the producer of the Indiana Jones films, Indy will never be done, but there's no interest to do another one right now. I think the era of the Harrison Ford Jones movies, as awesome as he is, that needs to end. But I can totally see them doing more in the future with a new, fresh face. Maybe you can't. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.